Thank you, Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. Such a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon.
Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Hold on just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. You've got to pray on just a little while longer. Pray on just a little while longer. Pray on just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be alright. Fight on just a little while longer. Fight on just a little while longer. Fight on just a little while longer. Everything will be alright. Everything will be
I was bone tired. I had gone to class all day and just finished working my 6 to 11 p.m. shift at the medical school library. I was tired. Usually when I closed the library at night, I would go upstairs to study in the anatomy or the cadaver lab. And I was usually alone. Most of my classmates didn't have to work. They'd already finished studying and gone home to rest. It's 2 a.m. and my eyelids are heavy. My head's falling forward and then I hear it again from deep within. You can't sleep now, child. Wake up. You almost dead. You gonna be a doctor. You'll fly, child. You'll fly. I rub my eyes and put them back on the textbook page and keep studying. You see, when I was growing up in Louisiana's Bayou country, it was customary for a great aunt, usually widowed, to help the expectant mother throughout her pregnancy. The great aunt also helped deliver the child with the midwife. And the great aunt would help raise the child. And when the child was about 6, 7 years old, which was fetching age, the child would stay each night with the great aunt. In case of emergency, the child could fetch help. Well, I was paired with my great aunt Nain. Nain was a sugarcane cutter. Now, Nain was a sugarcane cutter because that's the only work she could get. She used to say, "'Twarn't no schools for colored children when I was growing up, child. You study hard, and you can be anything you want to be. My wings was clipped, but you will be able to fly, child. You'll fly," she used to say. Now, Nate lived in a shotgun house. For those of you who aren't familiar, a shotgun house has a front porch, a front room, which is the bedroom, a back room, the kitchen, and a back porch. And it's called the shotgun house because if you shoot a gun through the front door, the bullet goes straight through the house and out the back door without touching anything. That's a shotgun house. I remember nights when the Klan would ride by and Nain would say, "Get down, child!" She grabbed that trusty cane knife and, "You stay down. Don't get up till I tell you it's safe." And I always felt safe at Nain's house. Now, my job at Nain's house was to chop wood and put it in the kitchen stove and put it in the pot-bellied stove in the front room. I would run errands and clean the house. And I was really happy staying with Nain. At my house, we slept 3 to a bed. A little rollaway bed. You know, the kind you have to put the bed away or there's no room to walk around during the day in the house. And since I was the youngest at the time, I slept between 2 of my sisters. So, all night long, "Move over, you're touching me." "Well, now you're touching me." "And don't wet the bed." But at Nate's house, it was heaven. It was just the 2 of us. We used to sit on the front porch during the hot summer months and drink ice-cold lemonade. We would take old woolen rags and put them in metal buckets, and we'd burn the rags, and the smoke would keep the mosquitoes away. We'd sit there for hours and just talk. And in the winter time, we sat around that old pot-bellied stove in the front room and we drank corn husk tea with honey and lemon. Oh, Mr. Johnny, our neighbor down the street, had 2 horses and he fed them corn, and Nain would send me over to gather the husk, and I'd take them back to Nain and she'd clean them up real good and brew delicious tea. Oh, those were happy, happy times. And one day I came home and I finished all my chores and I sat on the back porch waiting for Nain. And I waited for Nain. And pretty soon off in the distance, I saw a group of women coming towards the house. My Aunt Skeet said, "You can go on home now, child. Nain won't be coming back." I said, "What happened?" "Well, child, she took real sick. We carried out yonder to the local doctor. They didn't do nothing for her. You know, they don't like to treat us coloreds. So we carried her on down to Nolens, that's New Orleans, Nolens, 75 miles away." She kept asking, "Is we there yet, Ski?" "Won't be long. Hold on, Nain. Hold on." But child, she couldn't hold on. It was too far away. It took too long. She was dead when we got there. But why, Skeet, why? Why didn't they help her when she went out to town? Why didn't they help her? She was a human being, just like them. It was just a different color skin. Just a different color skin. She was my name, y'all. She was my name. It was just a different color skin. I'm gonna be a doctor. I'm gonna help everybody, no matter the color of their skin. I'll change things. I'll change things. Oh, hush, child, she said. Ain't no color doctors. I don't care. I don't care. I'm still gonna be a doctor. I'm still gonna be a doctor. Oh, hush, child. Ain't no women doctors neither. But I didn't hush. She took me in her arms and rocked back and forth and said, Lord, Lord, help this child. Hush, child. Hush. Well, I didn't hush. I kept saying it over and over again, and pretty soon when I walked around town, people began to say, there goes Ruby. She gonna be a doctor. I do believe that girl's gonna be a doctor. Yes, sirree, she is.
A great
Well, I left high school after 11th grade, went off to college at 16. I had to pay my own tuition. Daddy made 75 cents an hour, maybe $1 an hour at that time. He was an oil field worker. And he had 5 people to support. I paid every bit of my way through school. I majored in chemistry. I did a pre-med major. I did physics and biology. I took graduate courses, a full load every semester. I was in a hurry to get to medical school. But it was a tough time for me. It was a very rough time. Sometimes I was overwhelmed by the load, and I would study and the book would slip from my hands as I dozed off, and in that space between wakefulness and dream, a presence was there. Wake up, child. You can't sleep now. You gonna be a doctor. You gonna fly. Well, it was named, encouraging me, supporting me, holding me up when I was falling under the weight of it all. She was there with me. Just hold on, she said. You gonna make it. You gonna fly. So I finished college, 3.5 years, believe that. I was accepted to medical school at Harvard University, Boston University, and the University of Vermont Medical Schools. Well, I saw it snow in Vermont, no thank you. Harvard offered me a loan. Boston University gave me a scholarship. Take me, I'm yours. So I arrived in Boston in early September. I just turned 21. It was the first time I was away from my friends and my family. I remember looking through that little portal while we were landing at Logan Airport in Boston. All I saw were old, dark, gray, and brown buildings all connected together. I'd never seen anything like it. I started to cry. Oh, how am I going to make it in this big city? $300. That's all the money I had. How long would it last? Don't cry, child. Came the presence from within. You're going to make it. You just hold on. Just hold on. Well, I got a room at the Y. It was $7 a night. Rats and roaches included. I went to medical school the next day and found out that my scholarship was for tuition only. I needed a job in a hurry. Well, I found 2 jobs. I made a whopping $100 a month. I rented half a room from 2 second-year medical students, Bobby and Libby. So I had $25. How am I going to do this? Live off $25. Okay. Well, my first job, my morning job, was actually at Boston City Hospital. I drew blood from patients on the wards in the hospital. I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning and walk across Boston in the snow or whatever the weather was. My job started at 6 o'clock. And actually that job was a godsend because the nurses felt sorry for me. And when a patient died during the night, they would save the untouched breakfast for me. So I had a meal that day. But I survived. I held on and I survived. And Mother came up for my graduation. First time she'd ever flown. Daddy would have come, but he said, I'm sorry, child. I'm not supposed to fly. God didn't give me no wings. But I know he was proud of me. I know he was proud of me because from graduation day forward for the rest of his life, he never called me Ruby again. It was always Doc. Hey, Doc, he would say. You in New York City now, working at Harlem Hospital, Columbia University Services? That's mighty fine. Hey, Doc, he would say. Your mother tells me you teaching at the medical school in Buffalo. Teaching other doctors. That's all right, Doc. That's all right. And when I walked across the stage at Boston University to receive my medical doctor credentials, Nain walked with me. She had been there all along, encouraging me during still moments at my darkest hours. From deep within, her presence was felt. You're flying, child, you're flying. So on that day, I held my certificate up high and said, Nain, this is for you and for all the Nains whose wings were clipped so that they could not fly. I fly for them. I fly for them all. Woo! Thank you.